And we are part of a global bull market. It is not like we are rising in isolation. So definitely the pull out of money, if it is going to happen, will most likely happen globally.
Hello and welcome to the F&O Show on BloombergQuint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Dsouza.
Good morning, I'm Agam, Vakil, and here are the top headlines of this hour. Indian markets come off as opening high as Nifty Bank slips ahead of the weekly expiry. But open interest increases in ICICI Prudential and SRF as traders take fresh positions in their respective futures. And pharma stocks boom. Sun Pharma, Lupin and Aurobindo Pharma among the top Nifty gainers in today's day of trade. And oil settled at a two-year high on Wednesday after the shutdown of one of the largest crude pipelines from Canada cut supply to the United States.
All right, let's take a look as to what's happening in the futures and options market. Before that, with the markets, in fact, just about 45 minutes into trade, and it's been pretty volatile. We had an gap-up opening coming about, then Nifty slipped into the red, but we've seen the markets recovering from those lower levels. Currently, Nifty is comfortably sitting with gains of almost 20 points. But remember, the premium in the last two sessions has been coming down, and today it's also in single digit, which is telling you every time Nifty tries to touch those levels of 10,400, there are some short positions which are being built up at higher levels, or also there is profit booking which has been seen at higher levels. Well, in terms of support for the markets, that's been inching higher. If you look at the 10,300 put strike, that's been adding a lot of open interest addition. Yesterday it added. Today also it's seen writing of over 5 lakh shares so far coming about. So 10,300 could be the first support. But if you look at the premium on the 10,300 put strike, that's somewhere about in the range of 45 rupees. So the first support could actually be coming at about 10,250, because the put writers of this strike will be safe till the time Nifty slips to levels of 10,250. Well, the other strikes out of the money call strikes like 10,400 once again has seen a bit of open interest addition coming about. But remember, Bank Nifty weekly options contract, they expire today. So clearly Bank Nifty is going to be in focus, and it has been a bit weak, consolidating in the last 3 to 4 trading sessions. In terms of what range can one expect on Bank Nifty today, clearly the maximum call base is at 26,000 and the put base at about 25,500, which will be a crucial support for Bank Nifty. So watch out for that range on Bank Nifty today.
Of course, in terms of stocks, as I mentioned, we have SRF, which is right at the top. It's gained a lot of traction right now, and when it comes to its open interest, is looking at near 8.5% increase there. Apollo Tyres and ICICI Prudential also stand out in trade today. ICICI Prudential taking quite a hit, as a matter of fact, and we're looking at fresh shorts building there. We also have Bank of India and Dr. Reddy's, moving in divergent trends, but open interest increases for each of these stocks with as much as 6% accumulation. Let's take a look at some of the stocks which are looking at unwinding in their open interest. Well, not too much to speak for there. We have Indocount, Chennai Petro, Idea, Mindtree, and Shree Cement looking at unwinding of anywhere between 0.5% to around 1.5%. We'll be watching out for those, but I think today it's SRF which stands out in trade, Navneet.
Well, clearly SRF definitely has seen a good amount of gains, and I guess the futures too are seeing a bit of build-up. Open interest up about close to 8.5%. Well, before we get our guest on the show, here's a reminder: if you have any queries regarding the futures and options market, you can call us now on 022-4540-4141. You can also write to us on Twitter, Facebook with AskBQ hashtag. Well, on that note, let's welcome our F&O experts of the day. Ashish will be joining us in a while, but Nirav Chheda of Nirmal Securities is joining us on the show right now. Hi Nirav, good morning to you, and thanks a lot for joining us today on BloombergQuint. Well, today being the Bank Nifty weekly options expiry, we've seen the Bank Nifty has been underperforming Nifty in the last 2 to 3 sessions, a case point being yesterday as well when it ended in the red, whereas Nifty closed with gains of almost 20 to 25 points. Where do you see the range in the near future, and specifically today, the expiry, where do you see that coming?
Yeah, good morning. See, for Bank Nifty, I do believe it should move up today. The 26,000 call option on the weekly expiry has a good amount of open interest built up, highest amongst calls, and also double that of 25,500 put, which is also the highest amongst puts. So I do believe it should move up. You can buy the 25,800 call, which is around 24 rupees with about 10 rupees stop loss. You can see about 50-70 rupees at least in that strike.
Okay, well, we have Ashish Mota here with Ashish Chaturmohta joining us here. Thanks a lot for joining us, Ashish. What is your view on the benchmarks then?
Hi, morning, Agam. So I think, see, broadly we are into a consolidation phase, but looking into the broader structure, looking into the broader data points, it clearly indicates that markets might take a very strong support around 10,000 280 to 300 zone, and keeping that in mind, once we see a move beyond 10,000, 380 on spot level, I think we are going to see index testing its previous all-time high, which is around 10,500 mark. So I think broadly the view is positive, but overall I think the market in general are in a sideways trend, and it is going to be more stock specific rather than at an index level. But definitely if someone is looking for an index trade, it has to be on the positive side with a positive bias, with 10,280 as a stop loss and 10,500 as a target on a positional basis.
Right.
All right, so positive view coming in on the index, but as Ashish mentioned, the markets so far have been stock specific in the past few days. Let's shift our focus to options corner now. Before we start, Nirav has a bull call spread today, and before we take a look at his strategy, let's also see what that exactly means. A bull call spread is employed when one expects a moderate up move in a security. Well, in this strategy, a call option of a certain strike is purchased and a call option of a higher strike is simultaneously sold. Nirav, over to you. You have a bull call strategy on Nifty today.
See, the basic premise for that is I expect Nifty to go up towards 10,500 levels. Now 10,400 strike has about 40 points premium, 45 points premium. So I would like to buy that and also sell the 10,500 call strike, which is about 20 points premium. So the combined strike comes to around 25 points, which is also your maximum loss. Your maximum profit will be around 75 points. Again, if you get 50 to 75 points, that is where you exit the strategy. It is low loss and low profit strategy. However, I do believe Nifty has broken above its resistance of 10,370, so it should move up aggressively up to 10,500 levels. So this will be the best strategy going forward.
Ashish, you've also said that you have a positive bias on the benchmark. So if you were to employ, some option strategy right now, would you buy a call or would you also employ a bull call spread like Nirav?
So last time also when I came, it was a bull call spread. It was not a vanilla call option, because we believe that markets are in a positive territory, right, but with a consolidated kind of phase. So still I think the same view we would like to hold on. I think creating a bull call spread makes a sense, because broadly till we don't see a clear move beyond 10,450, it's not going to be a one-way rally, right, and time decay can can result if you are buying a plain vanilla call option. So creating a bull call spread of 10,400 strike call long and shorting a 10,600 call makes sense at this point of time.
All right.
Okay, let's also look at a couple of stock futures in today's session then, and there are a lot of stocks which are buzzing. One of them is Fortis Healthcare. This is the counter which was actually seeing a bit of losses in past few sessions. In fact, yesterday it also touched its fresh 52-week low, and today the counter seems to have bounced back. Let's check if it's actually bottomed out or not. Not much of an activity, however, seen on the future side. Nirav, do you think Fortis Healthcare, can somebody take a fresh call at current levels, considering the stock was seeing a bit of correction?
Yeah, see, since the downfall, say from 175 odd levels, it has been witnessing quite a good of volumes. So I do believe, see, at this level, it is near the bottom levels. 110, 115 is a very, very good support for this stock. So if someone wants to buy for a medium-term perspective, this is where you add in cash market. However, if you want to trade, then you should wait for those 110, 115 levels to buy, not here.
Well, of course, that's your call on Fortis Healthcare. You know, before I go into another one of those regular stocks which are inactive today, because we have Ashish here with us on the studio, earlier he had given us a long call on Tata Elxsi. If I remember correctly, back then, the stock was well below the mark of 900, Ashish. You know, I'm sure back then a lot of people must have initiated longs as well. But what do you do with Tata Elxsi at these levels?
So hold it, buy it. Would be my suggestion. As I've been mentioning since 890, it's a stock which is going to cross 4-digit very soon. So 1,000 mark is something which I think will comfortably get crossed over, and we might see 1,050, 1,060 as a target positionally. So I think any dip, it will be a great opportunity to again reinitiate a long position. I think now structurally, till it doesn't breaks 928, 925 on a closing basis, this dips would be used as an accumulation zone. Immediate target could be 980, 990, but positionally I believe that in next 3 to 4 weeks, this stock has the potential to cross 1,050 mark.
All right.
So you're suggesting people who had taken a position on the future side can keep rolling over till the time the target price is not.
It's a positional idea. Even at 890, we had this view that it is going to give at least 15% kind of upside from these levels. So I think that that trend looks very much visible. If you look at in terms of data, see, the day since we have initiated, stock has seen an addition of 22% in terms of open interest, and it has given technically a major breakout above 920, which was a major resistance or distribution point. So crossing this 920, I think it is going to hit a lot of short traders.
Right. Before we get to our viewer queries, one more question, Ashish. You've been having a great time with your calls. Jain Irrigation was the other one. Would you like to revisit that in terms of target prices?
Yeah, so Jain Irrigation, we recommended it 105, and I think still it is looking very strong. Only concern is it is into a ban period, so initiating a fresh position makes looks little difficult, but keeping trend in mind, I think once we see the stock coming out of ban, and by that time, if it doesn't break 108, 109, I think Jain Irrigation is poised for a move towards 125, 127 zone. So broadly a very strong structure, but the only concern is it's in a ban period. So wait for the stock to come out of ban, and by that time, if it is not breaking 109, that will be a great idea to re-enter a long position.
All right, so we're watching out for Jain Irrigation. There is one more stock that I do want to mark, and that's Apollo Tyres. That stock has advanced by as much as 2% right now, and it's looking at an increase of nearly 6 to 7% in open interest as well. It's currently trading at 253 on its November futures. Nirav, do you have a call on Apollo Tyres? It is looking strong for now, but do you expect this strength to continue? Say, if anyone were to get into this at this point in time?
See, in the last 2 months, we've seen a lot of short covering in this stock. The stock is now primed to move up towards 270 odd levels. I believe it has broken about 245 levels, which was a strong resistance for this stock with an open interest increase. So I do believe it should go up towards 270. You should be buying even at current levels and holding if you have longs.
Okay, so hold on to your long positions on Apollo Tyres, and if you want, you can also take a fresh long at the current levels. It's time for us to address our viewer queries. Our first caller is Ashish Jain, who's calling us from New Delhi. Hi Ashi, good morning. Tell us what's your query on.
I want to know whether is it advisable to take a fresh long on United Spirits, or should I wait for a correction?
Well, United Spirits, what a move it has had, Ashish. At current levels, would you advise Ashish to take a position?
So, see, this is a good stock, but the only challenge is whether it will be a short-term momentum. So, I think it might see some consolidation before taking a uptick. So, yes, if you are looking for next 1 month, then it's a good idea to initiate a long with 32.20 as a stop loss and 34.50 as a positional target. But if you are looking for a very short-term trading for say a day or two, then I think still momentum is missing until it doesn't crosses 3,300. I think a stock might see some consolidation before taking a uptick.
All right, we'll move on to our next caller, and the next caller is Shraddha Verma. She's joining us from Mumbai. Hi Shraddha, if you can hear us, tell us what would you like to know from our experts?
I was long on Wokhard November futures at 7:30. The stock fell yesterday. What do I do?
Okay, Shraddha is long on the Wokhard futures at 730. Can we take a look at what Wokhard is doing right now? At what levels is it trading at? What 724, about a 6-point loss currently. Ashish, what can she do?
So she has to keep a stop of 708 and hold it. See, overall, it's in a positive trend, and obviously yesterday we saw some profit booking, but that was also with a very low volume. Still, we have not seen a very significant short build-up on any dip, so clearly indicating that a lot of long accumulation is happening. But I think again, a stock is into a consolidation phase, so I don't expect an immediate recovery. Keep 708 as a stop loss. If that stop loss doesn't get triggered, then I think an uptick towards 750, 755 zone looks very much possible.
Okay.
All right, Shraddha, you can keep a stop loss on Wokhard at 708, and if that doesn't get breached, Ashish expects levels of 750 on Wokhard. Well, the stock definitely saw a bit of correction in yesterday's trade, but today it is seeing mild bit of uptick of almost up 0.7%. Let's also address some queries from social media, and we've got a query from Ashish Bajaj. He's asking, what are the chances of Nifty hitting 9600? Nirav, what do you think? It'll be 10,500 first or 9,600 first on the index?
See, I do believe we should go to 10,500 first. 9,600 is very, very far away. I can't even see on the open interest front if that will come. If that comes, then something globally has to go wrong. So I don't know. It will be sudden.
All right, well, there you have it. But Nirav is certainly positive right now, and for all who are long, they would certainly hope that we do not see 9,600 in the near term.
Every time traders have been waiting for that, downfall in the markets. We see correction of 150, 200 or maximum 250 points, but at every lower levels, Ashish, we've seen these long positions coming in. So the long-term trend for this market, I believe so far has been positive.
So, my point is to follow the trend. So, I don't want to say that I'm too bullish on the market or too bearish. It's about trend, and if trend is not indicating, it's no point predicting where's the top and the bottom, and that's the time. Most of the time, we waste our energy in identifying whether the markets are going to it. See, till it doesn't break 10,100 levels, right. I don't think there's a point of predicting whether markets are going to hit lower levels. Yes, markets are in a consolidation phase. They are not showing a very strong uptrend at this point of time, but till it doesn't break 10,100, 150 decisively, I think the broader trend looks very, very positive.
All right, so we'll move on to our next query, and this one comes from Devansh Singh, and he's long on Apollo Hospitals November futures at 1120. He wants to know whether or not he should book profits. Apollo Hospitals is currently trading at around, there you have it, 1120. So, well, he is sitting at around a 9-point gain, if I'm not mistaken. Nirav, if I may come to you on Apollo Hospitals, its underlying is showing some amount of weakness right now. It's down 2%. What can he do with Apollo Tyres and his position Apollo Hospitals, with his position right now?
See, Apollo Hospital from a fall of 1,300 has witnessed some good support around 1,000 levels. See, RSI divergence on the longer term charts have been seen. So I do believe it should come up towards 1,200 odd levels. I do not know much about the open interest for this stock. However, I do believe it should come to 1,200, 1,250 odd levels. So one should be holding on to longs with a stop loss of about 1,100 for this stock.
Okay, that's the view coming in on Apollo Tyres, and we've got Kaustav Goyal, who's joined us live on Facebook. He's asking, he's taken an intraday call, intraday trade in Z Entertainment around levels of 560. Remember, the counter touched fresh 52-week high after an upgrade came from Macquarie yesterday. The stock's seen a bit of cool off. Ashish, he's asking what should be his stop loss and target.
I'm very positive on the stock. So I think if we can keep a positional stop loss of say 540, then I think this stock is poised to cross its recent high, which is around 590, and once that happens, positionally we are recommending to our clients target of 640, 615 Z. So we expect at least 100 rupees upside from these levels in Z, but it's a positional call. So I think hold on to this position. If the stock corrects till 545, that will be a good area to again, you know, average the long position, keep a positional stop below 540. Immediate target could be 590, but positionally 640, 650 looks very much possible.
All right, so that's your view on ZTV. Now, Z Entertainment. Now, you know, there is another question which is a little more fundamental. You know, this one comes from Sandeep Konda. Is it the right time to take shots on PSU banks, considering the fact that most of them will be hitting the markets with QIPs soon? Nirav, if I can come to you on this one, I know this is a little more fundamental, but on a technical basis, are there any PSU banks that you see an opportunity to go short on?
No, my view is contrary. In fact, the PSU banks should now perform better than private banks, I believe, going forward. A lot of open interest built up has been seen in the last month and has been carried forward in this month also. Also, if you see in this month, in the first 10 days, a lot of aggressive longs were seen in PSU banks like SBI, Bank of Baroda, PNB, Union Bank. So I don't think one should be shorting PSU banks at this moment, probably in the next 2-3 months, but not now.
Okay, that's the view coming in on the PSU banking side. Let's just take one more query. It's come from Priya Negi, who's written to us all the way from Bhopal. She's asking whether she should cover her short position on Shree Cement, as she is short on November futures around those levels of 17,500. Can we check where the futures of Shree Cement are currently trading? Okay, still below her below the price where she shorted Shree Cement. Ashish, 17,321. Do you think she should just book her profits at these levels?
I think so. So it's better to take profits out of this because, you know, broadly it has corrected and now near a very strong support. So, you know, even if it has to correct further, it can see some pullback towards 17,450 zone, and from there on it might again restart selling. So it's better to take profits at this point of time.
All right, so we'll move on to the trading strategies that our experts have for us today in today's day of trade. Nirav, I'm going to come to you. What do you have for us?
Yeah, see, two stocks, Ultratech Cement, it had witnessed a lot of short positions. Now, in the last session, has seen a bounce back from its 50-day moving average and also has seen short covering. So that is a good sign. I believe one can buy at current levels. It can come up towards 4,400 odd levels. Keep a stop loss about 4,150. The second stock is Tata Chemicals. It has witnessed a volume breakout along with open interest increase. So one can buy at current levels with a stop loss of about 730, 728 and a target of about 770.
Okay, those were a couple of trading strategies from Nirav. Ashish, what are you betting on? I know we've discussed Z, but take us through your target prices.
So apart from Z and Tata Elxsi, which I like positionally, I think few more ideas. One is SRF, which has already seen a good amount of uptick today, but I think it's a start in the stock because if you look at open interest addition, it is 10% open interest rise, and if you look at in terms of chart, it's just on a verge of a major breakout zone, which is around 1830, 1840. Once this level gets crossed over, I think SRF on a positional side looks good for 2000 as a target, but in a very short term, I think 100 rupees upside from these levels looks very much possible. So keep a stop below 1800, and on upside can look for a target of 1920. Apart from that, Manappuram Finance is one stock which is catching my eyes, though it has not given a breakout till now. But I think the way the way open interest is being accumulating, I think once it crosses 105, that will be a trigger point for the stock. Keep a stop below 102.50, and on upside stock has a potential to test 112, 113 levels. BEL is looking quite interesting. It has seen a buildup of almost 3%, and I think the way structurally the stock is making every time a higher top, higher bottom formation, it's a clear, it's in a clear, strong uptrend. So keep a stop below 182. I think on upside stock has a potential to cross its previous all-time high, which is around 194, 195 zone.
Okay, so those are your views from our experts. But before we wrap, there's just one more stock that I do want to address, and that's ICICI Prudential. The stock has seen some weakness. We are looking at fresh shorts building in with an increase of 6.4% increase in open interest. Nirav, I'm not sure if this stock is very liquid in the futures and options space. It's currently trading at 383. Would you advise traders to go short on this stock, considering the kind of moves that we've seen in open interest?
See, this stock is very near to its support of 370 levels. So I have seen shorts building up in this counter. However, I would not advise to short at current levels. Wait for a break of about 370 in this stock, and you can see levels of about 320. So short below 370 aggressively, keep a stop loss of about 395 for your shorts.
Okay, that's the view on ICICI Prudential. And Ashish, what's happening with the Adani Group stocks? Yesterday in the second half, they surged. Today morning, now we're seeing a bit of correction for Adani Transmission, Adani Power, or even Adani Enterprises. How should one approach the group stocks? Because three of them are in the F&O space.
See, if you look at data, clearly there is a strong accumulation happening.
Okay.
Let it be Adani Enterprises or Adani Power. If you try to find out a fundamental trigger, it's difficult to get. But if you look at data, clearly a lot of buying interest is happening, and particularly Adani Enterprises, which has fallen from almost 157 to 120 and regained these highs after a considerable volume as well as open interest addition. So I think there's something strong happening. I have a view on Adani Enterprises where I think this stock has a potential to cross 170, 175 zone in days to come. But again, it will be a very risky bet to take in.
So I think keep strict stop loss as well
as your allocation should be reasonable.
Okay.
So you cannot have a very aggressive positioning. So I think, see, as a trader, two things are very, very important. One is your stop losses, and second is how you position yourself. So in a trade where you think it's a good bet, but risk reward is very, very volatile, then it's better to take a reasonable position.
All right, so Adani Enterprises could move up to levels of about 170. However, you must keep strict stop losses. But with that, I'd like to thank both our experts, Ashish and Nirav, for joining us and taking us through their strategies, as well as helping some of our viewers in their queries. But with that, sort of wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. Up next is Alpha Moguls with Neeraj Shah. Stay tuned in a BloombergQuint.